I know say the country where we dey benefit from as Nigeria youths na Canada.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Mary. If this is your first time seeing me, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming. So my channel basically chronicles my life, my acting career and production career, and generally everything in between. I have been procrastinating making this video for October, November, December, January, February, March, 5 months now. So pardon me, this is supposed to be a 1 year after relocating to Canada, the journey so far video, but it turns out that I'm making it 1 year 5 months after. But it's still the same. It's still the same experience. The experience is still valid. So I decided to brace myself and come up here this Saturday to make this video. Welcome. Please subscribe. It is free. All you need to do is click the button that is written subscribe and turn on the post notification so you get notified every time I upload a new videos. Oh, and my channel also chronicles my travel documentary, so there's something for everyone. If you scroll around, you find something interesting. So I have been living in Canada for 1 year and 5 months now as a student, and I came in October of 2023 from the UK. So in this video I'm going to be comparing life in the UK, life in Canada, and life in Nigeria, being that I'm originally Nigerian and I lived most of my life in Nigeria. This is a disclaimer. These are my personal views. They might not hold true to someone else. People have different realities, so do not judge me based off of your own standards. And I'm speaking for myself. Basically, that's what it is. So I knew that I was always going to make this video, but then I got inspired by Jade Shola. I think it's Jade Shola. That's the name of her channel. She made one with her husband, so I decided to do it and stop procrastinating. It's funny because I saw their video like a long time ago and I'm only just getting around making it today. Stay with me. I'm going to tell you both the good parts and the bad parts of living or moving to Canada. I'm talking from the perspective of a student now, so bear that in mind. First off on my list, okay, I'm going to do like the disadvantages, so to speak. I'm going to compare the disadvantages first, and then I'll speak about the advantages. I have some notes on this phone, so I'm going to be making references to them. Number one on the list, because I like food. I know that some people that know me personally will be rolling their eyes right now because I said I like food, but I actually do like food. So generally, the cost of food in this country is ridiculous. I don't know what other word to use. So typically, when I lived in the UK, I would take like £100 to the market, and I would buy protein. I'm talking £100 now if I am doing heavy shopping. So say I need to buy a bag of gari, a bag of rice, maybe beans, proteins, and fruits. That's basically what comprises my food, because most of the time I have like the okay, there's a cat here. So most of the time I have like let's say the snails, the dried fish, stockfish already at home, so I just need to buy vegetables to cook what I'm actually going to cook, right? So say I'm going to buy just proteins, fruits, and the likes. I'm going to take like £100 to the market, and I will buy stuff that I will use for at least 3 months. That was in the UK. In Nigeria, I can't exactly say, because I mean I lived with family and it's a completely different story. Although I went home in December, I went to Nigeria in December, and I kept doing every time I went to the market So every time I asked the price of something, and then the vendor told me, I was always like, what you say? Eh? I still have it in my head that 100,000 naira is a lot of money. I don't know how to rationalize the fact that 100,000 is not a lot of money again. Like 100,000 can not tend to the food needs of a family, let's say a family of 6 comfortably in a week anymore. I can't wrap my head around that. But anyway, moving on from Nigeria, comparing the UK and Canada. In this country, say I go to buy just fruits and vegetables, right? I'm getting to the till, and then I'm seeing that my bill is over $200, and I'm like, what did I buy? You'll be looking, you'll be like, wait, what did I buy? How did I get to $200? The cost of food is expensive. The cost of food is actually expensive. And I mean, you get to adjust, but at first you're just going to be shocked and surprised and confused, like, how did we get here? How did we get to over $200 for fruits and vegetables? Like, you're not buying, it's not like you're buying a bag of rice, you're not buying a bag of gari, you're not buying a bag of beans, you're just buying basic things like, say, fruits and vegetables basically, and then let's say maybe eggs. That's what's costing you that much. So that's one thing you have to have in mind. If you're planning to move to Canada, you need to up your pocket and know that, yeah, you're going to be shocked by the prices of food. By the way, I hope that this camera is positioned properly, because I'm not about to stand up or check anything. So the second thing is transportation. I've complained, I've been whining about this particular one in other videos, so much so that I'm sure that you guys are tired of hearing about it, but it cannot be overemphasized. I mean, in Nigeria, yeah, we know that the infrastructure is terrible. Like, we know you have to have a car. Like, it's just for the convenience. You need to have a car for you to be able to be moving about, or you inconvenience yourself in unsafe public transport. But in the UK, the place is like, there are buses running every like very often, except maybe it's in the dead of the night, and then the buses have stopped running if you live in a smaller city. Like, I lived in Newcastle, so I think the buses stopped running at I think 12 a.m. or thereabout, and then they resume at like 6ish or 5:30, I don't remember. But if you're living in smaller cities, then the buses will stop. But if you're living in bigger cities, the frequency just reduces, but the buses keep running. Say you're living in London or something, the buses will keep running even through the night, because the city stays alive. And you didn't really feel it if you didn't have a car in the UK. I didn't think at that time that, oh yeah, I needed a car. Even as I was a student, I didn't think that, oh, I needed a car, I need to buy a car for me to be able to function properly. Yes, if you're going to take the bus, it's going to take you longer to get where you're going, but if you had a car, it would be more convenient, because you can leave your house later and get to the place in time rather than waiting for the bus. But the buses did not fail to come at the appropriate time, as much as I have experienced here. So in this country, I live in Saskatoon, which is in Saskatchewan. The bus system is, I don't know what the word is. The worst of it is when it is in the winter months. I saw terrible things. I mean, I knew beforehand that, yeah, I needed to get a car before it was winter, but some things happened and I was like, oh yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that. So I need to figure out how I'm going to get to school in the winter. Like, the bus is not, the buses are not reliable. You can be waiting, let's say the bus is supposed to come at like 12. You can get to the bus stop like 5 minutes to 12. Imagine you waiting for 5 minutes. 5 minutes seems like a short amount of time, but when it is cold, it is not a short amount of time at all. 5 minutes can make you freeze. And it's so funny because I mean, when I was coming to Saskatoon, everybody was like, "Wait, where are you going in Canada?" I'm like, "Saskatoon," and everybody kept giving me that look, like, "Do you know how cold it is?" And I always respond by saying, "Well, people are living there, so I should be able to function." And then I lived in what I thought was the colder region in the UK. I lived in the north, so I was like, "Yeah, I survived in Newcastle, so obviously I'll survive here." My winter jacket in Newcastle was just a what's that thing? Is it buffer jacket? I've forgotten what they call that thing. Like a bumper jacket. I don't know what it's called, but it was not the thick one. Here I'm using, there's a brand called, is it Canada Winter Gear or something, or Canada Goose or something. It's very heavy, guys. It's very heavy. If I hold that thing, like if I put it over my hand when I'm not wearing it, my hand begins to ache. That's how heavy it is. Do you guys believe that I still, like, in that kind of gear, you can still feel it if you stay outside for longer than you are prescribed, for longer than like your body can take it, for a prolonged period of time, you're going to freeze. That's how bad it is. So having a car is a non-negotiable if you're planning to live in this country. So what I find is the fact that the country is very big as compared to the UK. UK is small. UK is like an island, and like the whole of UK is just a portion of what Canada is. So it was easy for their transportation network to blend, or it was easier for them to do their transportation network. This country is built in such a way that you need to have a car, right? Because even if you're going to take the bus, take for instance from my house, like my former house, where I used to live to school, is a 6 minute drive. But guys, you believe that it took me 45 to 50 minutes to get to school on the bus? So now I have to leave my house. Let's say the bus is leaving at say 9:30. I have to leave my house like 5 minutes to that time. Again, you can leave your house 5 minutes to the time that the bus is supposed to come, and the bus will not come at the time it's supposed to come, and then it's come like maybe 5 minutes after, or sometimes 10 minutes after. So you're waiting in the cold for 15 minutes, and then sometimes it will come earlier than it is scheduled to come, and then by the time you go out, you've already missed the bus, so you have to wait another 15 minutes for the next one to come, and you're not assured that it's going to come at the time that it says that it will come. I don't know if you're getting my point. I feel like I'm talking a lot, but I'm just trying to explain like the dynamics, how it works. So the bus system is not reliable. That's the word I was looking for. The bus system is not reliable. So this country is built in a way that you have to have a car for convenience. And in the UK, yeah, if I was going shopping, I could just go with my trolley, and then I lived in a place where I could walk. There were like a chain of stores 2 streets away from my house, so I will just go with my trolley and I'll buy these things. Here, when I go shopping, I obviously cannot take these things on the bus. And the way that the city center is set up, the city center doesn't have like a market where you say you're going to buy food stuff, right? That's not how it functions. So you have to go to like Walmart, you have to go to like Superstore for you to buy these things. And then sometimes the things that you want to buy, they need you to go to more than one store. So you have to go from one store to the other to get all the things that you want. Let's say you want to buy your African food, you have to go to an African store, and they are not all situated in the same place. So definitely you cannot use the bus, go to this place, buy the things you want to buy from Superstore, then go to the African store to buy the things you want to buy from the African store. It's difficult. It doesn't work that way. So you have to take a cab. Which brings me to another thing. In my first semester at school here, I spent a lot of money on cabs because I would be waiting outside for the bus. I'll miss the bus, or the bus will not come when it's supposed to come, and then I'm running out of time, and then I need to now order a ride. The average was like say $15, and in my head I'm calculating this money. You have to have it in mind again that I wasn't working at the time, so I'll calculate it in my head like, oh my god, this is how much I'm actually spending. The only thing is that when I'm returning home, because I'm not in a haste, then I can take the bus. But most of the times when I had to go to school in the morning, I would have to use Uber, and Uber doesn't come cheap, guys. So bus system here is not reliable. In the UK, it was more reliable. We're not going to talk about Nigeria because obviously it doesn't fit in this conversation. I've already spoken about the code, and the other thing is that I already mentioned, everywhere is far from everywhere. The country is very big. You might drive for up to like 10-15 minutes if you're going somewhere within the same city. You might drive for up to 10-15 minutes and you'll just be seeing trees and bushes within the city. So I'm not even saying that you're driving like outskirts. You're still within the city, but you're going to see fallow land, you're going to see vegetations, you're going to see bushes and trees and all of that. That's how big the place is. And I also feel like that's the reason why it's also cold, because the land is bigger than the people that are in it, which is the science story again is, if you go to the places that are packed, there's less snow than when you go to the, should I say, the hinterlands. When you go away from the places that have more population, there's more snow there. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. Another disadvantage as compared to the UK is that it's not very easy for you to find a job here in Canada as a student, right? I don't even know. I don't think it's only as a student. It's not easy for you to find a job generally if you newly moved to Canada. I've heard a lot of people complain about finding a job. My first 1 year in this country, I didn't get a job. You guys, I didn't work. That's the story for another day. I'm going to talk about my work journey or finding a job in this country, the journey, some other time in another video. But for today, it's not as easy in the UK. At least at the time when I moved to the UK, everybody who came in found something to do. Like, if you're serious, you find something to do. You just need to speak to 1 or 2 people and tell them that, oh yeah, I just came. What is the work that people are doing here? How do I get involved? How do I find something to do? There's always something. It might not be what you enjoy doing, but you will find something to do. And that's not the case, at least from my own experience. That's not the case here. And I don't know if to say there's not a lot of information about how it works for students. I don't know if to say that, but generally it's not so easy for students to find a job here, or for people to find a job here as compared to the UK, in my own experience, right? That's about the disadvantages. So now moving on to the advantages of coming here. I feel like I have it easier at school than I did when I was in the UK. I don't know if it has to do with the fact that I had been out of school for a while and then I went back to school, so I was finding it difficult to assimilate, or it's the whole system that is different. So take for instance, I don't know if that's the reason, but I think that I am more comfortable going to school here. I'm more in the know, so to speak. I'm more involved. I know what I'm doing more than I did when I was in the UK. So here, typically, for, let's say for a course now, I can get up to like 5 assignments or 5 essays to write that would accrue to my total score. In the UK, you get just one most of the time. For a course, you get like 1 assignment. That 1 assignment is the determinant of your grade, which I found a little unsettling, because if you don't do well in that 1 assignment that you've been given, there's no chance for you to augment, to make up for your lapses in the last assignment. But that's not the case here. Here you can have like 5 assignments and each one will be like 20 points, so you have the opportunity for you to balance things out. So I feel like school here is easier, right? I don't know if that makes sense or if that's true for anyone else out there. If you're watching this, you can let me know in the comment section. But I find that school is easier here. Again, it might be the fact that it's the second time I'm going to school like back to back, so maybe I'm just more used to the system of being in school. That might be a reason. I do not know. And there's something that there's something called Open Door Society here, which sort of tends to new immigrants. So if you have any question, whether you are a student, you're a worker, you're a permanent resident, or whatever, there's help for you. Like if you need help, you're going to get help. You can walk into any of those offices, you can call them on the phone, and then they'll direct you on where to go and what to do. Help is also available at school. So excuse me, at your department, there's somebody there that if you're confused about anything, they're like, oh yeah, you can just write to us, or you can just call us. There's student wellness center where you can go, and whatever your problem is, you always find help. That's basically it. This is not in comparison to the UK, but I'm sure that there's help. There's also help available. There was also help available at my school. But I'm just saying now the advantages of moving to being in Canada generally. You always find help. If you're confused about something, there's someone to call. Even in the first, so there's a taxing system here where you have to file your taxes yourself. There are places at your school, there's a tax clinic. They can help you file your taxes for free. If you go to the Open Door Society, they will match you with someone who would do your taxes for you in your first year. There's just all of those things in place. So if you're confused, if you come from obviously a different society, a different culture, way of doing things, there's always someone to put you through here. So that's something that is that's an advantage. Secondly, now this might sound contradictory, but there's an avenue for you to grow in your job here. So as a student, you can actually get, there's something they call FSWEP, federal students work. I don't remember what it stands for, but it's like an experience for students to get for when they eventually transition into the labor market. So it's like an internship program that they do for students. So you apply on GC Jobs. GC Jobs is the website, like Government of Canada Jobs is the website where you get all the job postings. So you can get that. I don't think that that's something that was easy for one to get in the UK, right? But here, you can actually work, even as an international student. You can find one of these jobs which helps you gain the Canadian work experience, which is necessary for when you eventually finish your school and you're trying to get into the labor market or whatever you're trying to do. You people are not going to believe what happened. Half of the video, my phone stopped recording and I did not know. And I have spoken and spoken, and I thought that, oh yeah, I've reached the end of the video, and then I flipped my phone and it had stopped recording. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. I don't know. But so I had to turn into the front camera so I can actually see what is happening. You might notice that it's a different frame. But yeah, pardon me. So I stopped at finding a job. So I'm going to talk about another advantage of this place are the amenities that they have. So there's public pools, there's public parks, there's public gyms. That's something that you can simply just walk in, register, and you have access to. In your first year moving here, you can actually have access to all of these things for free, because they assume that, oh yes, your first year, you're still trying to settle in, you do not know your left from your right, so they will not bill you too much. But subsequently, you just have to pay a token for you to access these things, but they are available. I don't know that this is applicable in any of the other places that I have been, or I mean, you get the point. But yeah, there are public pools, there are public gyms, there are public parks. If you need to clear your head, you can practically just walk out to a park and relax. You can have a picnic with your friends. Nobody's going to come and be bugging you and telling you, oh, you need to pay for this space for you before you can use it, or before you can just have a little picnic in it. That's not applicable. That's an advantage. Everything works, like, like the general amenities, the things that just are supposed to work, the public things that are supposed to work, they actually do work. So that's one advantage. Secondly, you can plan. If you earn a certain amount of money, you can plan your life within the means of that money. So it's not like a situation where it's not like a situation where, oh, you make your plans and then something just changes automatically and you do not know what to do next, like your plans have completely crumbled. No, that's not how it works. If there's going to be changes, it's going to be effected gradually so that you can adapt to it. So you can actually plan. You can plan according to your income, and then you know where you're going to be at a certain time. You know um, your progression. Like if you plan properly, you get to where you're trying to go to. That's one advantage. And then healthcare, this one is actually some people find it controversial. So like in the UK, there's something called IHS, which you pay when you're trying to apply for the visa. That money goes towards your healthcare fund. So if at the time when you're in school, or at around the time when you're in school, you fall sick, or you need emergency treatment, whatever it is, you get attended to and you would not have to pay. So I benefited from that as well, because if you remember, I had my surgery in the UK and I was actually very confident. The day I was supposed to have my surgery, I walked into the hospital myself. I was not worried or scared about anything. I didn't think that, oh yeah, NEPA was going to take light and something will happen. I didn't think of any of that. It was good. And the same healthcare system that the UK operates is the same one that Canada operates as well. So it was easy for me to transfer my health records from there here and continue my treatment as was necessary. This is, I said it's controversial because people always make um the claim and the complaints that you have to wait for so long for you to get the help that you need and all of that. I know that in the UK there's private practice. So if it is such an emergency, so much so that you cannot wait on the government hospitals, or you cannot wait on your IHS, or you cannot wait on like your GP, you can actually go get private help, but it's just that it's going to cost you more and you're going to have to pay for it as opposed to getting the free treatment. But overall, especially coming from a system where I see a lot of people online every day. I'm talking about this now because it actually breaks my heart. The number of people who always come online every day to solicit for funds for their health. If we had something like that, if we had a free healthcare system that was functional, I don't think that we're going to see so many cases online, except in extreme cases where maybe um the person needs, like, I don't even think that there's going to be the option of people are coming online to do GoFundMe for somebody's illness. So that's an advantage. The healthcare system, it is free. So imagine that you actually did not have any money and then something drastic has happened to you. You get treated for free. That's one of the greatest advantages here compared to anywhere else, right? And then another thing that is controversial, but I think that is an advantage, is that um when you pay, when if you're earning, I know some people will look at their pay and look at what was deducted from their pay and then they go, oh my god, that's a lot of taxes that you guys are taking. But if you're on the other side of the coin, or if you're on the other side of the divide, if you're unemployed in this country, you actually are um you are what's the word now, you're entitled to some kind of help. If you have kids and you cannot take care of them, the government is actually going to be sending you a stipend to take care of the kids. Now that's where the taxes go to. So it's actually used. So you pay these taxes and then you see the dividends of the taxes. The taxes are also the things that they use to cater to the things that they use to cater to the social amenities that are all over the place. like the pools that I mentioned, the public parks, all of those things. So I think that you should try to shift your mindset towards the fact that, oh yeah, I'm paying these taxes, but then they're working for me, right? That's something that's very common. People complain a lot about the taxes, but I feel like it's a two-way thing. And then, yeah, I feel like it's a two-way thing. And guys, because I have spoken about this thing already, like I thought I had finished recording. Now I'm missing my words. I was more energetic when I was talking before, and I had a lot of things in my head that I had said, and now I have to record it again. And this is where we are. Anyway, the Obonge, the biggest advantage of this country, which is one of the issues I had with the UK, is the road to permanence, right? In the UK, if you went to school for 2 years, if you did your master's for 2 years, you're entitled to 2 years post study. Now, in those 4 years of your life, if you do not get an employer to sponsor you at the completion of the 4 years, you have to go back to your country. You have to go back to wherever you came from if you so desire. Now, we already know the Japa culture. We already know what it is that we're looking for. We already know what it is that we're doing, right? I don't have to say it. But the UK does not give you a straight path in comparison to this place. I mean, every country has its pros and cons, right? Here, one of the greatest advantages is the fact that it's easier and smoother and more direct for you to get your permanence. If you did 2 years of school here, 2 years of masters now, I mean, at the completion of your 2 years, you get a 3 years postgraduate work permit. That postgraduate work permit now is not supposed to be tied to any employer, right? You can work anywhere. You don't have to bother yourself about, oh, I'm looking for a job that is going to sponsor me, because in 6 months of working here, in your first year of your postgraduate scheme, like after you've graduated, you found a job immediately and you work for 6 months, you're automatically qualified to get permanent residency. All you need to do is apply. You have the advantage of the fact that you have Canadian work experience. You have the advantage of the fact that you have Canadian education. That's not something that your UK counterparts can um, boast of. So the road to permanence is actually very straightforward if you are informed, if you do what you're supposed to do. You don't have to be thinking or watching your back or saying that, oh yeah, I need to do this or I need to do this, oh this time is going. No, it's more straightforward. That's like the greatest advantage, if you ask me. Now, comparing my life so far, this is not shitting on the UK or anything. The UK has its own advantages. If I was doing a video about the advantages of living in the UK, I would highlight their own advantages. But this is my experience 1 year plus after moving to Canada. I feel like I'm happier. I feel like I'm more at peace, I'm more at rest. That's not something that I felt in the UK. In the UK, the times that I was happiest was when I was traveling, when I was going on any of those trips I took. That's when I was happiest. Aside from that, I was always moody. I don't know if it has to do with the fact that I had my own personal struggles, plus the fact that I just moved to a new country. I was leaving home for the first time, or any of that. I don't know if that's what played a major role in it, but I know that I'm more at peace here. I'm not bothering my mind about, oh, this or that or any of that. That's not something that I'm worried about. So yeah, generally it has been a good time in Canada, even if the first months were rough. But it's easier for you to settle here. It's easier for you to relax and actually focus and do the things that are supposed to make you grow career wise. So far so good. I do not regret coming here. And I mean, every country has its own issues, but for me, the positives here outweigh the negatives, and it has been an interesting um, experience as an international student in Canada or as a new immigrant in Canada. It has been, the 1 year has been worthwhile. The 1 year 5 months has been worthwhile, and yeah, I hope this gives you a perspective of what to expect and what to prepare for. If you do have questions, you can leave them in the comment section of this video. If you have questions that you don't want to ask in public, you can DM me on IG, same handle, Odera Mary. And please subscribe to this channel. It is free. All you need to do is click the subscribe button that is below, is red, and um binge on my content. So if you've not been exposed to tourism in Nigeria, I've been doing some travel documentaries. You should watch. Last one I posted was of Bauchi, Yankari Game Reserve, and I'm always so excited to talk about travel and destinations because they bring me alive. And I went to Kano State, I went to Bauchi State, so surf around my channel and get entertained. And you can also watch from like my home state videos from before, from Cross River State, the touristy places that we have. You can drop a comment and let me know that you watched it. Excuse me. Thank you so much for watching. Bye now until the next time.